Hi, it's Mary, and welcome to Being Mary. Recently, someone suggested that I should have an elevator speech ready. You know, that short answer you give when someone asks, "So, what do you do?" And honestly, it stopped me because for so many of us, especially as we get older, that question isn't simple anymore. And this is why the question feels so hard. I'm a mom, a sister, a daughter, a grandmother, a friend, and I'm retired. And yet none of those quite answer the question, do they? Especially when you've moved beyond the job title you once used as shorthand for your life. When the role you held for decades no longer fits into a sentence. So let's name why this can feel uncomfortable. If I'm being honest, part of me hesitates to talk about writing or podcasting because I don't want to sound self-promotional or like I'm putting myself forward too much. And maybe that hesitation says more about how many of us were taught to stay small than it does about what we're actually doing. Are you following me here? But after sitting with it for a while, I finally landed on something simple, something that feels true. And here it goes. I write and podcast about real life as we grow older and figuring out what comes next. And what I love about that sentence is that it just doesn't explain everything. It leaves room for curiosity, room for conversation, room for the story to unfold. And that got me wondering, what's your elevator speech? What do you say when someone asks, "What do you do?" Is it true or is it just familiar? Does it reflect who you are now or who you used to be? And here's one I really want you to think about. If you could rewrite it today, what would you want it to say? And maybe the bigger question of all is your speech aligned with the life you're living right now? Or the life you wish you were giving yourself permission to live? Let's gently reframe this. You know, your elevator speech doesn't need to be impressive. It doesn't need to explain everything you've ever been. And it clearly doesn't need to justify where you are now. Maybe it just needs to be honest. And maybe, especially in this season of life, it's allowed to change. Because growing older isn't about having fewer answers. Sometimes it's about finally asking better questions. In closing, if you're listening and this got you thinking, I'd love to hear your elevator speech, or even the one you wish you could say. You can leave it in the comments or send me a DM. I'd really love to get to know you better. Because growing older isn't about shrinking our story. Sometimes it's finally learning how to tell it. Until next time on Being Mary, keep walking and remember to send me your elevator speech.